Welcome to the special regional tournament semifinal review and championship preview edition. And I'm gonna tell you something. We're at the Campbell Center Live right now, and the Clear Creek Bobcats just stunned the Salt Lake Spartans 75-73. I mean, the Campbell Center was rocking. Take you guys how this thing ended. Clear Creek went up by as much as 20 points in the first half. Actually, in the first quarter, the score was 28-8 at one point. And they hit 9 of their first 10 shots. They were cooking in this place, and everybody was like, what is going on? It was just good shooting and precision. I'm talking about Clear Creek, I'm sorry. All of a sudden, Clear Lake, they surged back, cut it down to 5 at the end of 1. At halftime, it was an 11-point deficit, 45-34. And, you know, De'Aaron Fox had 15 points at the half, Nick Goff with 11 at the half, Jared Evans, AJ Sparks, they were the guys that helped get this thing done in regard and set the tone for Clear Creek. Sparks, 14 points at the half, Jared Evans, 10 points at the half. Going into this third quarter, that's when everything started to turn and get really, really interesting. Salt Lake's opened with a 3-pointer from De'Aaron Fox. From Nick Goff. Then later on at the 450 mark, De'Aaron Fox hit a 3-pointer. They cut it to 42-49. Josh Nebo scored his first bucket of the game with 3:27 left in the third quarter. And he got a free throw, and that really got things cooking. Then you got Salt Lakes. This is one of the bookmarking points. Nick Goff heated up, hit a 3-pointer. He pulled out the old pot in the palm, what he had, porridge or whatever he had in it, and he got to cooking, he got to eating, and he got to show. And the Clear Creek guys saw that. They emerged from that timeout. They stopped the bleeding. Went into the fourth quarter. Both teams went back and forth. You had relatively 7 lead changes in this fourth quarter. The most notably was a key dunk by Josh Nebo with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to tie this game in, to take a 69-67 lead for Salt Lakes. Then every time that Salt Lakes would hit these guys with a punch, Clear Creek would come back with a counter, and they would get on the ensuing possession. Bottom line, whenever Salt Lakes needed that stop, they could not get that stop when needed in order to get that separation. And all it's kind of like body blows. It's take its toll. Down the stretch, it looks like things, you know, right at the epic of it for Salt Lakes, and the turning point for Clear Creek gave them a new life. Nick Goff goes to the free throw line. Salt Lakes is winning by 3 points. He misses both of them. And Clear Creek goes down. Jared Evans get fouled, get to the free throw line, and he capitalized. Then they come back, and eventually tie the game up. They come back. Salt Lakes has the ball, possession during the closing seconds, and Nick Goff turns the ball over. Clear Creek goes down and scores the layup to seal the win. Stunning victory, as I say, guys. And I'm going to tell you, it's for the game. Jared Evans, 20. The book had him for 22 points. I have him for 19, but who cares at this point? It's a done. AJ Sparks, you can't say enough of his heart and his big shots that he drilled over and over and over again in that first half in order to keep the game at reach and set the tone. For us, De'Aaron Fox, 32 points in the loss. Nick Goff finished with 19 points. Tomorrow, they set up the tone for all Clear Creek ISD showdown. Clear Creek versus Clear Lake, part 3. Both of these guys in the same district. They both split wins, home wins, so to speak. So my thing is, does Clear Creek have enough in their tank to be able to, after this type of emotional win, to be able to come back and take on this Clear Lake Falcon team and overcome them on tomorrow? I don't know. I'm not so sure about it. I asked several people. I just don't see it. But again, once again, guess what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Clear Creek, if you use what I said against you yesterday as motivation, then you definitely gonna use this as motivation. I love that win. You're talking about a team they dethroned De'Aaron Fox, and a couple of games before that, they knocked out and eliminated Kerwin Roach in the same postseason. There's no one guy to key on, so they master keying on one guy. This is a Clear Lake team. They both know each other. All these kids grew up together and within blocks of each other. Guess what? I'm going to be. It's going to be at the Campbell Center today, 2:30. That's 2 o'clock, I'm sorry, at the Campbell Center. Now, moving along at 5 p.m. at the Merle Center across town, you have all Beaumont showdown. Beaumont Ozan versus Beaumont Central. Part 4. These guys have already played 3 times already this season. Central winning 2. Beaumont Ozan won the last time they played in district play. Well, what happened earlier? Beaumont Central, they knocked off Yates, beat them by 18. That was it was a relatively close game for the most part of three quarters or so. Then Central just pulled on the way toward the end. Beaumont Ozan and Madison, not like so. That was a closely played game. All the way nip and tuck, all the way to the closing moments. Jordan Hunter had 0 points at the half. He surged with 11 points in that third quarter, set the tone. The guard play of Ozan, ended up helping pull it out with big free throws down the stretch. John Como knocked down 2 to help put them up by 3, and they eventually held off Madison, eliminated Madison. So, and like I said before, this Madison team, guess what? You got to the regional tournament. Before the playoffs, when the playoffs started, I called it, I say Madison and Yates both had cakewalks through their brackets. They should both make it to the region. That was a good deal. They both made it. We all know that those teams, based on what especially they're in the same district, especially on what Madison did all season. They struggled early on, of course, without Jeremiah Gambrell. He came back last month. These guys been rolling ever since. However, you lost against come on now. That's a much better guard play and much more experienced team. They had much more chemistry. Madison will be hungry. They'll be all right. They'll be good and back next year, as well as Yates. Yates only has about 3 seniors on their team. This Yates team, trust me, they're going to be good next year, and they have a couple of kids on JV. As you know, Greg Wise going to always stash some on JV because they probably wasn't eligible to play this year on varsity. They had to sit and play. So they'll be all right. Don't worry about them. As for also, speaking of those teams of HISD, how about Houston Sterling? They picked up a win over Tatum tonight, and they will match up with Silsby. That would be at 1:30 in Huntsville, of course, at Samuel State University, and their main campus. The winner of that game goes to the state tournament. Houston Sterling and Silsby, man. It's not a rivalry. Sterling has never been this far in the history of the school. But I'm going to tell you something. Both teams, Silsby is 31-5, and I think Sterling is 30-5. So you're talking about 2 teams that they're pretty much evenly matched. But I'm going to roll with the Raiders on this one. I'm going to roll with the Raiders. I think they have something that you can't really describe in regarding to the camaraderie of the team, the makeup of the team. I mentioned it yesterday, Kirtland Wesley. This is a guy that he was one of the few guys. How many of you guys would just say, I don't even want to play summer ball right now. I got to go get a job at the zoo so I can take care of my little sister and take care of my family. Most guys would rather go and just do anything they can except taking care. They barely can take care of themselves. Nevertheless, trying to take care of their family. That lets you know the maturity of this young man. I'm riding with the story. That's a brilliant story in some cases when you're dealing with media. So it's not, and I'm definitely not anti-Silsby, because guess what? If Silsby wins this game, and I know about my young guy, McCain, the young sophomore, but I'm going to root for Silsby like all I do is. But right now, I got to root for the story. I'm rooting for Sterling. You can make a movie off of that. They can take that to Hollywood and Paramount Pictures or whatever can make a good screenshot of it. But only other thing we missed tonight is the first game at this Campbell Center, and I skip right over it now. Sam Houston lost to Clear Lake. And of course, you guys made them catch the news. That's a fine win for the Clear Lake team. It was a precision. They looked like a well-oiled machine for the most part of the game. They beat Sam Houston like they were supposed to. Didn't blow them out. Toward the end, they pulled away. Sam Houston, I think, how about this? He just couldn't knock down no shots, guys. How about this? Check this out. In the second half, Sam Houston was 4 of 26 in the second half. They were 1 for 13 from three-point land in the second half. And I mean, and you're talking about this Clear Lake team only hit 5 field goals the entire second half and still won the game by 15 points. I mean, that lets you know, I mean, they didn't necessarily play well enough to win against on an average night. But the Sam Houston team, they damn sure didn't shoot the ball good enough to even think about winning up under some bright lights of a great game. But bottom line is, guys, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So much energy went through this building. They took most of mine out of it. You know, I'm usually all over the place. My head is spinning right now. Props to Clear Lake, props to Clear Creek, props to the Beaumont ISD, Central, Ozan. We'll be at both games tomorrow, and props to Houston Sterling and, of course, Silsbee. Those are your Region 4, 5, and 6 championships that are set up for tomorrow. See you guys at all of them. I want you to get out and support these young men because they have worked hard all year for this moment. Let's support them one time. It's their last game. One of these guys got to go to state. It will be in San Antonio next week, and we want to be there rocking and rolling and support them. So thanks for checking out the video VIP news tonight and or today, and have a good evening, good weekend that is.